Hi everyone, it's Ailin here, back again with another video. So today I really wanted to turn on the camera and just, go through some questions with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's Q&A video. That one was really fun. And this week I thought I'd try something different. I posted on my Instagram account asking you guys what questions you wanted me to cover in the next Q&A video. And so a lot of you guys left your questions on the last post that I posted, little video clip of the last Q&A video, and you guys really delivered. So I'm going to be covering some of the questions that you guys asked in that Instagram account, and I've also pulled some questions from the previous Q&A videos that you guys left in the comment section on the YouTube channel. So we're gonna go through those questions today, and it's really my plan to just keep pumping out these Q&A videos because I want to be a source of support for all of you that are on your healing journey currently. And it's just, it really breaks my heart over and over again, since I'm such a sensitive soul. I mean, that's the whole reason why I became a healer. I really want to be that support system for all of you, because so many people out there are truly suffering and in pain and in fear with various health issues, with cancers, with tumors, with pain, being bedbound, extremely fatigued, just so much suffering in the world nowadays that that's like the whole purpose, the whole reason why I put out these Q&A videos. And I really do try my best to put them out weekly, but every single day here we're always busy working with you guys one-on-one. But yeah, so like keep coming with your questions, and I want this channel to be a source of inspiration, motivation to all of you that tune into the videos, and also a wealth of knowledge. That way, whatever you have, detox wise, health issues wise, like we're gonna cover it on this channel, and so you guys can like take your power back, and really roll up your sleeves and dig in deep with your diet, with the herbs, and do the work with detox. So I know we have a lot of new people tuning in to the YouTube channel, and that makes me really excited because I don't know, this is the whole reason why I started the channel to begin with, because I wanted this information to spread. I know that when I healed my fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, endometriosis, like hundreds of symptoms years ago, that I wanted to be a huge proponent in the spreading of natural healing information, but more specifically true detoxification. And it just makes me really happy when we get more people to join our little family here on YouTube, and also on Instagram too, on all the social media platforms. That really makes me excited. But so welcome all of you that are new to this channel and new to detoxification. If you're brand new to detox and you're looking to actually heal and get to the root cause of your health issues, I recommend a good place to start, besides watching these videos, is go to our website and just read all the articles that we have on there. I've been writing articles for years now on the science and art of detoxification, and a lot of very often covering specific health conditions and diseases that when you follow the detox diet, your symptoms start to be eliminated one by one, and then you get your healing back. So I recommend going on there. Our Instagram is a huge source of knowledge as well. I post a lot of things on there that I don't post on YouTube or even on the website, so that's a good source of knowledge. And just consume all that positive energy, because it's like when you first go on the detox diet, there's a certain level of deprogramming that you have to do, like the deprogramming that we need a ton of protein, right? The programming that we need to take supplements to get all of our nutrition, things like that. So it involves the deprogramming, and then like really reassuring yourself that you're on the right path. And then when you finally jump in, you start to see so many fantastic healing results that it's clear as day that this is the right path. So so that's what I recommend. And then follow the advice that I give on these YouTube videos. And we get people all the time telling us that they follow our advice on the YouTube videos and that they see healing like happening right away, shrinking of lymph nodes, shrinking of tumors, and it really makes me excited and warms my heart. But anyways, guys, I won't continue. You guys, I like to ramble, but I wanted to get into fruits, right? Because During the winter time, it can be just a little bit difficult to detox since the summer fruits, they're no longer available, right? Watermelons tend to, not be as good tasting. They tend to be underripe or overripe, fermented. Oranges are really good during the winter time. But I wanted to share these persimmons because persimmons are really, really great. A good source of energy during the winter. If you're really trying to stick to eating all raw or mostly raw for your detox journey, the persimmons are really great. So I wanted to compare these two. So you have the Fuyu persimmons. These are going to be the smaller kind. You see, they kind of remind me of like little pumpkins, so like great for the fall season, right? Aesthetically speaking on this video, orange. But these guys, they don't have to be very, very soft for you to eat them, for you to know that they're ripe. I've eaten them, fairly hard at times, but I do like it when they get soft because I don't know, to me they taste so much sweeter. But the Fuyu persimmons, you can find them pretty much anywhere, and they don't have to be soft in order for you to eat them. So and they're also really great, like I consider them to be pretty much a little bit more grounding than the oranges and the grapes. They tend to be a little bit more astringent and pulling, and you may see like more detox symptoms with those types of fruits. But during the winter time, sometimes it's good to balance out a little bit, and so you have these guys. And as long as you're eating fruit, you're still going to be focusing on the regeneration of tissues, so you'll still be able to do that with fruits. Now this is the Hachia persimmon, and this is going to be the bigger one. This one, you definitely want it to be super, super soft before cutting into it and consuming it. Kind of like you have a water balloon in your hand, like that's how soft it should get. So these require some patience in order for you to get it to ripen up. But what I recommend is just going to the store, trying to find the softest ones you possibly can, and then sometimes you have to wait a few days or like a week or two in order for it to get really ripe, and then for you to cut into it and enjoy it. But like persimmons, it's like the nectar of the gods. Like it's so, so, so good, right? How you can tell if it's not ripe yet is if you eat it, if you cut it open and start eating it, if you get kind of like this, how like tannins, they kind of leave like that sandpaper like feeling in your tongue and in your mouth, that's when it's not ripe. So it shouldn't do that. It should be perfectly sweet and not have like that effect on your mouth and your tongue, okay? But yeah, guys, like get your persimmon game on. I know I am. I literally bought I didn't find too many of these. I got maybe like 4 or 5 of these, and I literally bought like 22 of these guys to consume within this next week or so. So yeah, that's a really great way to keep raw, especially when the foods aren't plentiful. And these can be found, if you don't find them in a health food store or like Whole Foods or Sprouts or like wherever you're located, then you can also find these in like the Asian markets or the Spanish markets. Pretty much any type of like market like that, you'll find more tropical fruits there. Okay, so I wanted to start off the video like that, but I'm gonna just jump right into your questions, okay? And remember guys, if you like this style of the video, give it a like, leave your comments and questions down below. I really want to hear them because I want to be able to cover every topic on this channel, no problem is too big. Detoxification really gets to the root cause of everything, okay? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm gonna try and keep this video on the shorter side. I'll try to keep this video on the shorter side because I really want to go into filming an iridology video. I got a really, really great set of eyes that I spoke to today. The client that I spoke to, her eyes are just really, really great, crisp, clear. It's like a really good representation of someone with lymphatic problems, sulfur problems, lymph node swelling, genetic weaknesses, brain lesions. Like it's just like the perfect eye as an example to teach you guys about how I correlate all the symptoms and signs in the eyes and how I use that to create an herbal protocol. So I really want to film that video, so I'm gonna try and answer these questions as quickly as possible, okay? All right, so the first question. Okay, first question. Thank you, Ailin. Very valuable information as always. I was wondering if you can make a video on thyroid health and what you think of using Lugol's iodine. Topically on skin to warm up the body. I get extremely cold and that is the only thing that helps. Okay, so this is actually a question that I've gotten many times during phone consultations with many of you. And I do not recommend isolated iodine supplementation. The reason I don't recommend it is because most people's lymphatic systems are compromised. The lymph system is the body's main sewer system. It's the system that we use in order to remove all the acidic waste and cellular waste that builds up in our body. Many people are facing kidney weakness and adrenal weakness, which does not allow this the body or the lymph system to filter out these wastes. These wastes are highly acidic and burn tissue and can create inflammation in the body and can create so many different symptoms. So in those that have kidney weakness and adrenal weakness, they automatically have lymphatic weakness. We see that a lot of congestion in their eyes. If their eyes are blue, you'll see like white or yellow or green, the appearance of green, or maybe orange around the pupil. You can see many drug deposits, so that's a sign. And if the eyes are brown, then you'll see various different shades of dark brown, pointing to lymphatic congestion. So if you look at your eyes and I've described you, if you see something that's not crystal clear blue or crystal clear brown, then you have lymphatic issues, okay? The reason why I don't recommend taking iodine when you have lymphatic issues is because iodine is an isolated supplement. If you're taking it in that isolated compound. Now, natural iodine found in foods like kelp, seaweed, nori, strawberries, spring greens, things like that, is a good source of iodine. Our bodies do not produce iodine, so I can understand why someone would want to take iodine supplementation, but I'm telling you guys, more often than not, when I look at people's eyes, I see many chemical or drug deposits or supplementation deposits. So what iodine looks like is it's very easily attracted to the thyroid gland because iodine is used in order to create thyroid hormone. So that's why people feel better when they use iodine. If they take it sublingually or if they rub it on their skin, it's absorbed by the body either way. And if you do that, then it's very easy to see iodine drug deposits in the iris. And we often see this right in that thyroid region in the eye. So I don't recommend it because with iodine, if you're taking it because you have a weak thyroid, it hyperstimulates it. It creates a false sense of stimulation, but hyperstimulation can lead to several different issues later on. Hyperstimulating the thyroid gland can lead to excessive heart rate, excessive heart rate, and it is dangerous. I do not recommend it, So if you're looking to get healing from that, if you're feeling a lot of cold hands and feet, if your body is cold and you can't get warm no matter what you do, I would rather you take a natural form of iodine from kelp or, something like that. Kelp is going to be the best bet, your best bet, because not only does kelp have iodine, but it's also high in calcium. So people that often have a thyroid weakness also have a parathyroid weakness, and they have trouble with the utilization of calcium. So, it's very often that you'll see thyroid and parathyroid weaknesses paired up together. People that have varicose veins and spider veins, rigid fingernails, depression, sagging skin, prolapsing hernias, hemorrhoids, all these different things, then they have parathyroid weakness. But then right there in that same region, you have the thyroid gland. So kelp is really good. If you take kelp, then you'll get both things. You'll get your natural calcium and you'll get your natural iodine as well. So that's what I recommend. And, it can be a real problem sometimes because traditionally it's recommended that we take iodized salt because iodine is, often not plentiful, not found in the soils nowadays. They're very nutritionally deficient. And since we can't produce iodine in our bodies alone, then, that's why people recommend iodized salt. But even iodized salt, that's also an isolate. So guys, I don't usually recommend isolates because then you can see, lingering effects in the body. And if you hyperstimulate the thyroid gland, then you risk actually forming a lot of congestion and mucus in the thyroid gland, and even tumors in the thyroid gland. And then you're looking to, in the future, get your thyroid gland cut out. So don't recommend it. So take kelp instead. You can take kelp in a capsule form. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure it doesn't have preservatives. And also, if your thyroid gland function is very, very low, then I would recommend taking a thyroid formula, an herbal thyroid formula, like the one I recommend to my clients. Or if it's extremely low, again, check your basal temperature, then you might need a thyroid glandular. So pair those two together, and that will be a lot better than taking, an unnatural form of iodine. And hopefully in the future I'll be able to show you guys what that looks like in an iris photo. But just for you guys to know, like, if you look at your eyes, and some people have like many different colors, many different colored spots in their eyes, iodine will usually look like a reddish brownish spot. Okay, so we see this time and time again. So many clients have come to me in the past where they've taken iodine supplementation, and lo and behold, we see that in their eyes time and time again. So drug spots sometimes are very difficult to eliminate, as seen in the eyes. So you should stop. You should definitely stop. And that's what I recommend. And I really don't know what else to say about that other than I don't recommend iodine. Now, I am coming out with an article just about cravings in general, and in that article I speak about all the different types of cravings you can have and how to take control of your cravings during detox. And so I go through salt cravings, protein cravings, cravings for sugar, cravings for starch, all those things. And in that salt section I do discuss iodine and iodized salt. And if you're still consuming iodized salt, I would at least recommend like a full-bodied salt, like something like pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt. That'll be your best bet, but you have to switch over, definitely. So I hope that answered your question. Nowadays people's thyroids are completely congested. So if you're having many thyroid symptoms, like I described before, like headaches, cold hands and feet, irritability, becoming irritable very easily, low sweating ability, things like that, then really look into following a raw diet if you aren't already, especially one that's high in foods that are mucus dissolvers. So oranges and orange juice is fantastic at pulling out mucus from that throat and thyroid region. So I would recommend drinking lots of citrus juice, consuming oranges, consuming astringent fruits, essentially. And then if you're able to get some sort of drainage, like a cold and flu-like symptom, or hocking up or spitting out, naturally spitting out mucus from that thyroid area, then your thyroid function will pick back up and you won't need to take any sort of like unnatural means, like isolated iodine or applying that to your skin. So that's what you want to see. Now, this is general information because I don't have your case right in front of me. I don't have your eyes to look and see the signs through iridology, but oftentimes you'll see like dark areas in the eyes in that thyroid region. Or you may see a pituitary weakness up in the head region in the iris, or you may see a hypothalamus weakness that's in turn affecting the pituitary function, and then the pituitary function in effect affecting all the other glands of the body. So you can have that domino effect going down. So this is why I say and I stress for those with many weaknesses, many symptoms, if you're suffering, if you're in pain, if you don't know what else to do, if you feel like you've tried everything already, then I recommend getting your case analyzed by myself. I'm a detox specialist and an iridologist, and I use all those signs just like I do in the videos. I put all those puzzle pieces together. I paint that full picture so we can get to the root cause of why you're having these health issues, and addressing it with a specific diet and and a specific herbal protocol is going to be the missing key. It's often the missing key for people in order to fully reverse their health symptoms. So that's what I recommend. Definitely, but I hope I was able to answer your question as much as possible. Thank you so much for submitting it. Okay, so second question. Okay. I am 59 years old, nearly 60. You see, that makes me so happy because like detoxification, once you get excited about it, like age is just a number. We have people in their teen years getting excited about detox and changing their diets. We have people, even young children that are 3, 4, 5 years old, they get excited and they can see the effects that fruits have. Like when they eat food and consume food, they're like, oh, my tummy doesn't hurt. Oh, I'm able to poop more. My skin doesn't itch, things like that. Like children are very intelligent, and I really have to commend people that are in their 60s and 70s and 80s. Usually at that time we've already formed our lifelong habits of poor eating, bad eating. So it's like it can be hard to make a change, but I commend people that are of that age, that they're able to go in there and it's never too late. You're able to change your diet and regain your health. And this type of diet, it reverses everything. It's like the anti-aging diet. So really great. Okay, so you said, I have a lot of issues with my eyes, dry eyes, bloodshot, eye floaters, lazy eye, blurry vision. What would be the best diet to fix eye issues? Okay, so that right there tells me you have a lot of inflammation in the head region. Dry, bloodshot eyes is pointing to major acidosis in the eyes and in the head region. You said you have eye floaters, lymphatic stagnation. That's what eye floaters can be. Eye floaters can be, retina detachment if it's farther along, if acids have been there for a long time and it's chewing up that tissue, it's a possibility. Lazy eye, that can be a connective tissue weakness. So you have to look into calcium utilization and perking up your parathyroid gland. So, parathyroid formula, a calcium formula like kelp or superfood blend would be really good for you. Bones formula would also be excellent as well to pick up that lazy eye again. Blurry vision, again, lymphatic issues. Now, lazy eye could also be a nervous system issue. You definitely want to take the brain and nerve formula, the upper circulation formula. I'm curious to see if you have any brain lesions in your eyes. That would be really, really great to see if you have any brain lesions, or stagnation or lymphatic congestion up there. So you can be more specific in your herbal protocol on how to reverse this. But anything with having bloodshot eyes, if you have that redness in your eye, you have extreme inflammation in that area, which is always going to be acidosis. Now, what I normally recommend for people, the best diet to fix their eye issues, since that's what you asked, is you want to focus a lot on berries. Berries are really, really good for the vascular system, for blood flow, as well as lymphatic fruits. So grapes and oranges are going to be really, really great at removing all that lymphatic congestion up in the head region. And at the same time, you have to look at your colon, your bowels. People that often have upper head issues, eye symptoms or eye floaters, they often have very toxic colons. So focus on a diet that's going to help you move your stools along. Okay, so during detox, you can expect to see old stools, mucus, mucoid plaque, sulfur elimination, parasite elimination. You have to go and look inside, not to sound gross, but with detoxification, this is what you should keep an eye out for, is having a stick by your toilet and sifting to see when you start taking these herbs and following this diet, a lot of strange things will come out through your stool. So check to see if you're eliminating these things that I'm talking about. Once you start eliminating that from your colon, then your head area will start to drain lymphatically. And then these issues like you're talking about, we've seen them gone. We've seen them healed up in people, super, super easy. But I would take an aggressive approach. since you're nearly 60. So something that you can add is, on top of everything that I've mentioned with the diet, you definitely have to be 100% raw. Because like I said, if this is a degenerative issue, that's what you need. Raw helps the regeneration of tissue and healing tissue weaknesses. So you have to be all raw. You have to look for mucus. And then as far as herbs go, take upper circulation, brain and nerve. If you have cholesterol plaquing, that can be a possibility. Check to see if you have cholesterol plaquing around your eyes. It'll usually look like a milky white residue. I'm really curious to see what your eye looks like. If you have cataracts or cholesterol plaquing, that would really, kind of like turn us into what specific herbs will be most beneficial to you. But something's telling me that you probably have an adrenal gland weakness. When you have weak adrenal glands, your steroids are low steroid production, and then in acidic areas in your body, you start plaquing cholesterol as a buffering agent. Your eyes are bloodshot. So I'm gonna make a good guesstimate in saying that you probably have cholesterol plaquing. So take something for your adrenal glands, like now. I recommend our adrenal gland formula, the one that I recommend to my clients, or depending on what your blood sugar looks like or blood pressure situation looks like, then you might need something stronger, an adrenal glandular, because in this way you'll stop plaquing cholesterol. Cholesterol can cause things like eye floaters or lazy eye or blurred vision. I've seen that a lot, especially in people that have vision problems. The clients that come to us looking to heal their vision problems, they tend to have a lot of that. So take something for the adrenal glands, and then something that you can do topically. I recommend the eye tincture and then doing the eye wash. Okay, so there's a lot of different detox tools that I recommend to you guys during our consultations on Skype and on the phone. Those of you that are working with me personally, the eye wash is one of them. So there's instructions on how to use the eye wash when you get the eye tincture, but essentially you put a few drops of it into like a little glass, a little eyeglass, or you can use goggles, and then you put that liquid in there diluted with water, and then you put it in the affected eye and you hold it back for a few seconds or for about a minute. There's a lot of nice lymphatic herbs in that eye tincture that help remove that lymphatic residue that can be causing you these eye floaters. So I really, really recommend that. Other than that, I think that's about it for as much information that you've shared. Really try that. Or if you want more information, because I don't know how serious the issue is or how deteriorated it is. I really don't know. You didn't share too much about your health history. So yeah, if you need more help beyond that, then I definitely recommend working with me one-on-one so I can help you out there. But like I said, we've seen regeneration of the eye tissue. We've seen people get their vision back. It's really, truly amazing what you can accomplish with detoxification. Not difficult. If you are focused on the diet, if you are consistent with the herbs, you can see miraculous healing happen. Okay, so you asked more questions too. Okay, will I be able to reverse and get my good vision back, be floater free? Okay, I already answered that, yes. And what are your thoughts on water fasting with lemon juice and sea salt? Okay, so lemon water fasting is really great, okay? But make sure that you transition. Make sure that you're all raw for some time first, okay? Before jumping into a lemon water fast. The reason is because sometimes people are too eager that they jump straight in from eating a processed food diet or an animal-based diet or standard American diet. They jump into a lemon water fast. And with that, lemon water fasting is probably the top of the mountain, one of the most detoxifying fasts that you can do. So you really need to give yourself that space to open up the channels of elimination first, because if you don't, and if you just jump into a fast like that, then you can risk pulling acids out of all these deep tissue regions, and then they have nowhere to go. where can they go if your kidneys are not filtering? Where can they go if you're still constipated and backed up? You see what I'm saying? And so that in that way, it can be harmful, or you can experience severe detox symptoms and not know what to do, or end up in the hospital. You know what I mean? So take it a little bit slow and listen to your body. You'll be able to see, like, okay, if you're following a raw diet and you start to plateau and not really seeing too much progress, then you can go into gentle fruit fasting, and then you can go into mono fruit fasting, and then juice fasting, and then lemon water fasting, you see? So you have to give the transitional fast a try first before jumping into lemon water fasting. But if you can handle it, then definitely do it. Track your kidney filtration and see how well you do. It's very strong. As far as sea salt goes, I do not recommend sea salt or salt flushes or salt water fasting. Definitely not. The body cannot handle that. It can be very dangerous. People can end up in the ER for that. I do not recommend salt water flushes. Okay. Sorry for so many questions, just that you are the only one that makes sense of issues and links them perfectly to the root cause. Oh no, it's okay, you know, you didn't ask too many questions. I really enjoyed answering your questions, and I really hope that you, take your power into applying the recommendations that I gave you, and so you can really start to make a turnaround, because blurry vision, eye floaters, this is serious stuff. If you have acids in your eyes and are exhibiting symptoms in your eyes, then it's very, very common that you also have acidosis in the brain region. You have to protect your brain. You don't want to end up with dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that, okay? So if you guys are seeing any symptoms, for those of you that are watching, if you see any head symptoms, you have to take that seriously. Even something as simple as dandruff, you have to take that seriously. That's lymphatic sewage coming out, trying to escape from the scalp. It means you're backed up from head to toe. So this person is definitely showing that they're backed up from head to toe and need to detox like now. Okay, so yeah, thank you for your question. Okay, number 3. I'm on a roll here, guys, and I apologize if I'm talking a little too fast, but I really want to get to as many of your questions as possible. Okay, number 3. Thank you so much. Can you please advise for knee pain? Okay, so with knee pain, what sort of knee pain are you having? Because knee pain can have several different root causes. It can be coming from, like, let's say if you have inflammation in your knee. Do you have something like bursitis, or do you have tendonitis, right? It can come from arthritis, osteoarthritis in the knee, in the joints. It can come from uric acid production. If you have a lot of fungal issues in your body, producing uric acid, settling in the joints, that pain can be coming from that acidic overload. Or you can have due to an injury, I'm not sure if this is from an injury or a ruptured ligament or deterioration of cartilage. It can be many different things, but we'll address this, okay? So if it's an inflammation issue, if you see swelling, or if you have a history of arthritis, or if you presently have arthritis or anything like that, then you want to address your adrenal glands, and you also want to to get control of your sugar metabolism issues that can be causing fungus and uric acid production. You want to get rid of that by addressing the adrenals. At the same time, if you have inflammation in your knee, you have to ask yourself, okay, what gland is down in my body that I need to take control of in order to eradicate inflammation? The adrenal glands. You have to perk up the adrenal glands, that they produce those anti-inflammatory steroids, so you'll be able to get rid of any pain in the body, even the knee pain, right? At the same time, why is there acidic presence in your knee causing this pain? Why is that the case? You have to check to see if you have a kidney weakness on top of that. So most of the time I'll say, address your kidneys, guys. Take kidney herbs, take the kidney formulas, because oh my god, I'd say like 7 out of 10 people probably have chronically weak kidneys, especially if you're younger of age. Oh my god, if you're like 35, 40 and under, definitely 9 times out of 10 kidney weakness, okay? You're lucky if you don't have kidney weakness seen in your eyes. But Most of the time, if you don't have kidney weakness, then what do you have? Adrenal gland weakness. So it's either one or the other or both that people normally have. Either one that you have, kidney filtration is affected. So for you to have knee pain, you at some point, maybe when you were younger, when you were born, you're born with kidney or adrenal weakness that you just weren't filtering at all, and all this lymphatic sewage was building up in your body, and then over the years it settled, all these acidic waste settled, and now it's creating pain and deterioration and burning, okay? So you want something for your kidneys and the adrenal glands as well, okay? Now, on the other side, on the flip side, it could be that this acidosis has been lingering for some time in your knees, that you're now leaching calcium, causing the destruction of cartilage and, calcium being leached from the ligaments and the joints. That could also be another possibility. So to that, I say address your parathyroid, take some natural form of calcium. Do not take isolated calcium. Do not, because then you run the risk of actually creating calcium deposits in the joints. So anyone listening, watching now, if you're taking an isolated calcium supplement, stop taking it, okay? Go for something like kelp, or get it from your diet, from oranges. They're abundant in calcium, right? So don't go for that, because then you can risk the swelling of the joints, the hardening of the joints, the stiffening of several parts of the body, forming calcium deposits in the tissue, hardening. You don't want that, okay? So I recommend that. And the only way you'll get rid of this knee pain, like I said before, check to see if your kidneys are filtering. If this idea is new to you, then I would recommend to go on my website and read the article that I have on kidney filtration. That way you can know how to achieve it, what it looks like, what you're looking out for. And the more you're able to achieve this kidney filtration, then you'll notice all the pain in your body will start to disappear. Just like that, okay? Something else that can be considered, if it's a circulation issue, you'd have to really look at your eyes and see. I wish I had your eyes. You'd have to really look and see if there's a possible prolapsing in your colon, like a transverse colon prolapsing, sigmoid colon prolapsing, putting pressure on the lower half of your body, the lower regions, that can be cutting off circulation to the legs, to the knees. That's very possible. We've seen that before. And there's also a possibility that you may have had a genetic leg weakness to begin with, or even in the knee to begin with. We often see that in the eyes. So you see, guys, there's like a lot of moving parts here, but this is kind of like what I look at all the time when analyzing your cases. And so nothing really gets, unchecked or, glazed over. I go super in depth with everything. But I hope I answered your question with that. Now, if the knee pain is very intense, there's little, I guess they're quick fixes. I don't like that word. I don't like treating of any symptoms, because really it's just for momentary pain relief, okay? But something you can do is, if there's a part of your body that's too intense with pain, especially for knee swelling or knee pain, you can apply a castor oil pack overnight. That oil can help with the buffering of acidic waste in your knee right now, or inflammation, and you can do that. But don't get too used to turning to treatment-based things like that, even if they're natural, okay? They're really meant to just be used as momentary detoxification tools as you're digging deep into your detox to finally heal that. Because if you leave that knee pain, that root cause there, without changing your diet, then what's next? Losing your knees. Then what's next? Oh, I'm headed to the doctors for surgery. That's not what you want. So that's what I recommend, okay? Do that castor oil pack. You can take the Spasm Calm formula is really good. Pain formula is really good, depending on the level of pain that you have. If it's extreme, like 10 out of 10 pain, then you might need to take like a CBD oil. Depends on what you want to do, but I try and avoid any type of narcotics as much as possible, or anti-inflammatories that are, prescribed by doctors, because that wrecks the glands of the body. So it's like, if you go that conventional medical route, even though you get some relief, there's no way of escaping the side effects There's no way of escaping the effects that it has on different parts of your body. No way, you know? And oftentimes what's affected is the glands. If you don't have your glands, guys, if you have gland weaknesses, you have no joy in life. You are in full body pain. You have no energy fatigue. Pretty much you have no life, okay? So that's why it's very important to protect your body, you know, become your own healer, become your own doctor as much as you possibly can, you know, within reason, right? And protect yourself from the toxicity of this planet, because it's a very toxic planet, and they for sure do not make it easy on us in order to follow the correct healing path. So it's a fight. It's a constant fight every day. But once you get into the swing of things, it's easier. It just gets easier. So yeah, thank you for your question. Hope I answered it. Okay, number 4. I was diagnosed with Non Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2015. Okay. I was in remission twice. I did natural healing mostly myself. Okay, that's really good. But remember, remission does not mean that you fully healed it, right? Remission means like, okay, you're not showing symptoms right now, but you know, it doesn't mean that you got to the root of the problem. But you know, with the natural healing, sometimes when people do that and they're able to get into remission, it's because they have pretty strong genes, pretty strong constitution. They change up a few things, they change up their diet a little bit, you know, they include some natural remedies here, and they're able to go into remission. But with this type of strong constitution, you should be able to go into detox and really tear it up and really see fantastic healing results. So I like that you said that. No chemo, thank God. Thank God. Chemo has that residual effect, guys. With chemotherapy, it's literally like you're intaking the purest form of acidity in the entire planet. And not too many people come out of taking chemotherapy. But it's good that you didn't do that. Okay, yesterday I went for my 9-month check. There's tumors in my lungs. The doctors suspect it's cancerous tumors too. Okay, you see? So you pretty much, like, with that natural healing, you kept those symptoms at bay, but you didn't really reach in with the lymph system, pulling all this lymphatic waste, right? Non Hodgkin's lymphoma, that's a lymphatic-based cancer. Purely just your lymph system is weakened. You're not, your main immune system, very weak, not functioning properly, and so you really have to go in there when you have any type of lymphoma and start taking lymphatic herbs to try and move and pull all this lymphatic sewage, to try and perk up the different parts of the lymph system, the thymus gland, perk that up, remove all the worst offending mucus forming, clogging to the lymph system foods, right? And go on the raw diet, because nothing is better than cleaning out the lymph system of, lymph node swelling, of cancer cells, of tumors, than the raw diet is, and specifically fruits, okay? So that's what I would do. If you're gonna go back to getting rid of these tumors in your lungs, that's what I would do. Okay, so they suspect it's a cancerous tumor. If it's cancer, won't biopsy cause it to spread? What's your thoughts about my situation, please? If it were me, I would not get a biopsy, because if you have a tumor that's a pocket of lymphatic sewage and acidosis, if you go in there with a needle and biopsy it, what's going to happen? An explosion of all that acidic waste to the surrounding tissue, causing the surrounding tissue to burn. So at this point, I would say it doesn't matter if it's cancerous or not, because a tumor is a tumor. A tumor is still an obstruction. You're going to go after this tumor, whether it's cancerous or not, in the same exact way. Same exact way. Think to yourself, a tumor is, even if it's not cancerous, a tumor is pre-cancer. It's a pre-cancerous condition. So either, and I hear this all the time from my clients, where a few years back they went to the doctors and, either they had a lump somewhere, like a lump in their thyroid, a lump in their breast, a lump in different parts of the body, and they're like, okay, doc, is it serious? They're like, oh no, it's not serious, just keep an eye on it. A few years later, then it becomes a cancerous tumor. That's the worst thing a doctor could possibly say, is that a lump is not serious and not to be taken seriously, and all you have to do is just watch it. No, right? So I recommend going after this as if you did have cancer. As if you did have cancer, okay? And don't fear the word cancer. Cancer simply is, degenerated cells or mutated cells that were formed under an acidic sky, under an acidic medium. So if you have cancer, that means you're highly, highly acidic, that your cells have mutated or have reached that degenerative stage, okay? Oftentimes in the eyes, more likely than not, in areas that are black or chronic or degenerative, that weakened tissue is more likely to develop cancer, okay? It's not like, oh, for sure that's a cancer, but it's more likely to. If you're someone with lymphatic issues, if you're someone that continuously, exposes their body to highly acidic things like carbonic acid from sodas, or sulfur from medications, something like that, that's like an acid on top of an acid on top of weakness, you can develop cancer. Now cancer can have its there's certain conditions that can cause cancer, acids being the main condition, but I have found that people that have fungal issues more prone to cancer. People that have lymph node swelling or lymphatic issues, they're more prone to cancer. People that have taken sulfur medications, they're more prone to cancer. People that have had exposure to heavy metals or chemicals or toxicity, more prone to cancer, okay? So oftentimes it's a lot of things that can create these obstructions and these tumors in the body. So there's an obstruction where your lymph system is not moving, not draining, and you have to get to the root cause of what that obstruction is and where it is and address it with diet, with herbs, with detox tools. Those are the best remedies that we have nowadays that do not cause side effects or symptoms like chemotherapy and radiation do. I do not recommend that, okay? So yeah, my thoughts on your situation would really be, you have to get your kidneys to filter. Again, the chest region, that's the lungs. I often see a correlation in iridology when I'm analyzing your eyes, guys, is the chest region is right across from the ascending colon, okay? So if there's a lot of toxicity and impactions in the ascending colon, through the nervous system, toxicity can travel to different regions of the body. So if you have toxicity in the ascending colon, it will translate to toxicity or weaknesses in that next side, which in this case is the ribs, the chest, the breast, the lungs, that chest wall, okay? So I'd really address my colon. Try and clean out your colon with the GI broom, the stomach and bowel formula. Make sure you're having 3 to 4 bowel movements a day. During your detox, change your diet to all raw. Once you're used to the all raw diet, I don't know what stage, well, I think you said, okay, so you were diagnosed in 2015. So this means that this has been brewing in your body for quite some time. We're already in 2019, so 4 years since your diagnosis, but probably 10 years before that, it was starting to develop in your body. So essentially it's like 14 years that you have this acidic waste. So if you're able to handle it, okay, and you really have to read your body, but this is why it's important to work with a detox specialist, because guys, this is like my job, this is my passion. I help people and I guide them through these detox challenges. There are certain cases in cancer where you jump into a grape fast and it's just too much too soon, okay? But if it's something you can handle, I would recommend a grape fast. Something even stronger, grape and lemon fast. Eating grapes, drinking lemon juice, or juicing grapes and juicing the lemons and having that drink, fasting on that for as long as you can. With lung tumors, it's difficult because if there is a chance, like you haven't revealed this to me, but if you've ever had like water around your lungs, let's say, you have to be careful with that. Juice fasting in that type of condition, if you're prone to holding water around there, then you may need to at some point go and get aspirated, So yeah, to drain the fluid out of the lungs. So you have to know what you're doing. This is why detox is, this is why I've studied for so many years, guys, because you're able to see everything. And I don't mess around when it comes to your health. When it comes to people's health, I just do not mess around. And I try to know about everything in order to help all of you. And I never want to give you wrong advice, okay? So I would say just see where you are. If you're having symptoms of shortness of breath, if you're having pain in your lungs, if you're having swelling anywhere else in your body, then you know you're hitting the fasting too hard, okay? But if you see, and you can test this out, right? If you get on a raw diet for like a week and then jump into a great fast, like I mentioned, and then whenever you choose to get tested again, I recommend thermography is the least damaging, or ultrasound would be the next best thing. Definitely not biopsy. X-rays, that's pushing it because that's radiation, and even a small amount of radiation can start forming tumors in places. So you have to be careful with that. It can start forming the burning of tissue and cancerous tissue. So be a little careful. But if you go on that great fast and you don't notice any of the symptoms that I mentioned, and you're only getting and feeling better, that means it's going to be working for you. And that's the diet that you should stick with until that tumor is gone. And you can go get tested with thermography or an ultrasound. Go get tested and see in a few weeks or a few months, see if that tumor is still there. Chances are it will not be there, okay? Or it'll have shrunk significantly, okay? So you didn't say how big the tumor is. There is a limit to, if a tumor is huge, like we're talking huge, then it might need to be surgically removed, and that goes with any tumors. But if it's not relatively large, and if you're someone with a strong constitution, like I believe that you are from what you've told me, then you can do a really good job at healing this, okay? So yeah, like keep me posted, take this advice. I would recommend working with me and getting on a specific herbal protocol today, because that's what it takes. For cancerous cases, or for cases that are chronic or degenerative, you need the herbal support, okay? People have too many weaknesses nowadays, where as opposed to maybe like 50 or 100 years ago, people could have healed with just a diet alone. Nowadays, weaknesses are too great. Genetic weaknesses passed down from the parents, from their parents, and now just the way that we've eaten and grown up nowadays, and all the toxicity and all the radiation, and it's a huge mess. So we need as much of the herbal support as possible to reach this kidney filtration that's needed, okay? So your kidneys should be filtering that whole time. Make sure, pee in a jar and check to see if your kidneys are filtering. But thank you for your question, and I really hope that it works out, that you start seeing the reversal of your symptoms, the shrinkage of your tumor. And like I said, this is stuff that should not be messed around with. Do not leave it to fester in there, because it always gets worse. If acidosis is left to fester, it will get worse, okay? So so I recommend following those recommendations, or working with me if you're able to, okay? And I'll definitely help you out as best as I can. Okay guys, we're up to question number 5. Okay, number 5. Hey Ailin, thank you for what you do. Heart. Can you please address no periods for over 2 years? Bloating for a lot of plant-based foods, and getting more sensitive the simpler you eat. Detoxing and having a past with an eating disorder, ? Thank you. Okay, so there's like 3 questions in one, okay? So I'm gonna do my best, okay? Address no periods for over 2 years. I'm wondering what your diet looks like. You said plant-based, but I wonder if it's raw. If it's raw, then this can be common for people that have pituitary gland weaknesses, or ovarian weaknesses, or even adrenal gland weakness. These glands control the menstrual cycle. So people that have come to me for, like they haven't had their period for years, sometimes they have a past of birth control taking. That has wrecked their ovaries, their adrenals, and their pituitary gland. on the same flip side, they may already have these weaknesses genetically speaking. So once you go on the raw diet, high raw, or even plant-based sometimes, you can tend to lose your period because these types of diets show you your weaknesses. Since you're no longer being stimulated, hyperstimulated by meats or dairies or cheeses or any of these processed foods, then it's like all the glands in your body just take a deep sigh of relief and they kind of like, okay, now it's time to rest, you know? So in that way, you can see the result of not having your period. Now, this does not happen to everyone. It doesn't happen too often, but I only really see it happen for people that have a genetic pituitary weakness, or, you know, chronic or degenerative adrenals, or ovaries. Or sometimes they have a lot of congestion in their head that's actually suppressing their pituitary function. The pituitary gland controls menstrual cycles, okay? So you'd really want to see if your eyes are too congested, if your body's too congested in the head region, I'd work on decongesting that a little bit before jumping onto a pituitary formula or a pituitary glandular. Depending on your level of weakness, you may need one or the other. Okay, but I definitely address my pituitary and focus on draining the head region. And then, yeah, you can try the female reproductive formula that has herbs in there for the pituitary and the ovaries. And sometimes the adrenal glands need to be addressed because of the estrogen production from that. You know, if you run low estrogen, then that can cause you to lose your period. So there's many different things that go in with that. But also clean up the bowels, because I noticed that if you have a lot of congestion in your uterus or uterus weakness, the bowels can tend to affect that since they're right alongside each other. So I do all that. Now let's see, you have bloating with a lot of plant-based foods and getting more sensitive the simpler you eat. Okay, so that means you have colon stagnation. So lymphatic sewage inside the bowel wall can often result in bloating, or you know, if you're that sensitive, you know, it can be that. Maybe you had some sensitivities before simplifying your diet, but we'll get into that later. But with bloating can be several different things. It can be a pancreas weakness. If your pancreas is if the pancreas tissue has decayed some, or if it's genetically weak, you can have issues with completely digesting your foods, whether that's carbohydrates, fats, proteins. People with pancreas weaknesses can have trouble digesting these things, and then that can result into bloating or fermentation. You know, fungus is invited in. It says, hey, come over here, fungus. We have all this undigested food matter. Since the pancreas is not working, okay, let's go in there. Fungus goes and does its job, leading to fermentation. Fermentation leads to bloating. You see what I'm saying? It can be a liver gallbladder issue. We'd have to look at your eyes and see. Really, it's all about the symptoms. If I see you have symptoms of liver spots or pain in the liver region, or you know, genetic family history of having liver issues, or it's the same thing goes for the pancreas, then we know to go there. We know to support those areas of the body with the herbs, okay? But yeah, that can result in bloating. Sulfur can be another thing that can result in bloating. If you have sulfur impacting your colon, and you can kind of see it in your eyes, if you have yellow or orange around your eyes, then bloating can be a sulfur issue. Not all the time will people have sulfur. People have sulfur that have bloating issues. It can be the other things I mentioned, or simply just acidosis. That's a real possibility. You also want to check to see if you have parasites. Sometimes the body can just hold on to a pocket of parasites in there, resulting in bloating. So these are all things, but essentially you're going to be cleaning up the entirety of the colon and the GI tract in order for the pancreas, the liver, gallbladder to drain lymphatically, so everything can start to work and pick up and function again. I would recommend the pancreas formula if you do have those weaknesses, or the liver gallbladder formula. For sure, if you have sulfur, you'll want to start consuming foods that help pull the sulfur out, like watermelons and apples, things like that. Those are going to be the strongest sulfur pullers. And if you can handle it, the GI broom, don't jump on it immediately because it is quite aggressive. Only take that if you're consuming all raw, And definitely take the stomach and bowel formula depending on what number you require based on your bowel movements. But I hope that answers that question. Now, as far as getting more sensitive, the simpler that you eat, that happens quite often. So sometimes we see kind of like two different things. Sometimes we see the more you eat raw, it's like your body tries to keep you on the path, okay? Because it wants you to be successful. So like, let's say if you simplify your diet more and more, let's say you're eating all raw and you have been for a while, and then you cheat on something, like maybe a piece of mock meat, or maybe something that contained dairy, or maybe some like a handful of nuts, or maybe some grains with beans, like things like that. For some people, they can become sensitive, and their body awareness can become so heightened. Sometimes you can see your symptoms returning or pain returning from eating foods that are outside of the raw diet that you should be following, okay? Now think about it this way. The simpler you eat, the more lymphatic congestion is draining out of you, okay? So on the flip side, with less lymphatic congestion, less toxicity, it's kind of like you've gotten rid of that protective layer of mucus in your body, especially in your colon. So it's like you don't want to jump from a high level of healing, super simple, like all raw or high raw, and then going to like the worst food that you can possibly eat for your GI tract, like grains or dairy or meat or proteins, right? So it's kind of like the body is trying to protect itself from yourself, from your choices, okay? So it is necessary for us to remove this mucus in our colon and our intestines, because that is what causes poor cellular respiration in the colon. With a lot of mucus occlusions in the colon, that's what causes tissue decay in the colon. So even though this mucus, in a certain level, a little bit of mucus in the GI tract is beneficial. After detoxification, to rebuild that up just a little bit is beneficial, because you don't want to be extremely sensitive for your entire life living on this planet, But during detox, you want to put that notion aside and go in and remove as much mucus as possible, because we're not talking about a little thin film of mucus here for people that have these health issues. No, we're talking about thick mucus that is decaying the colon, that is blocking absorption of nutrition. And most people have this. Even people that don't have health issues, most often they have this, because it's the natural way of the body to overproduce mucus as protection if you are not eating healthy foods. If you're eating acidic foods, that's what happens in the colon. The colon, the tissue is so sensitive, that mucosa is so sensitive that it can easily start to produce mucus. Too much mucus is too bad, right? So that's kind of like my stance on the simpler that you eat, the more sensitive you can become. At a certain point though, once you have detoxed your body a good amount, and this was the case for myself, was like, what type of diet was I meant to follow, and are you meant to follow after detoxing your body? Detox should not, or at least, deep detoxification should not be something that you follow for the rest of your life, like 100% all the time. It can be something that you revisit from time to time, just to make sure that your body's in check and in good health. Draining of the lymph system, definitely. But you'll want to rebuild this mucus just a little bit, with a healthy diet after detox, but more of a balanced diet. And that's like an entire topic in and of itself after you heal your health issues. And it's about listening to your body, okay? So it's about, maybe including a little more fats after detox. See how your body responds to that. Healthy fats like avocados and coconuts and stuff like that. Maybe it's about including a little bit more greens or vegetables, you know, maybe some sweet potato, maybe some veggie soups. Maybe on the rarest of occasion, a grain of some sort, or like a rice noodle, or, you know, mushrooms, you know, maybe a vegan cheat here and there. Like, it's tough to say, but I will tell you my experience was after ridding my body of fibromyalgia and of chronic fatigue, of costochondritis that was horrible, endometriosis, period pains that were so severe, 10 out of 10 pain. Like I went through so much pain, guys. I went through the type of pain that when you're in there, you want nothing to do other than to die. Like, you cannot stand a mere second more of that pain. That's how bad it was. And I really surprised myself that, like, wow, like, human beings are so strong. They go through this intense amount of pain and they're still here. I'm still here, you know? It's incredible. But like I was saying, after I healed all that, I started reintroducing some foods into my diet, still remained vegan, still remained high raw, and I found my balance. My balance was eating some veggie soups, and I was no longer sensitive anymore. Whereas when I first started, oh my God, rice and beans or vegetables in some situation, or tofu, or, you know, stuff like that sent me into a large amount of pain and sensitivities from that. But once you clean out your body completely, you should not have those sensitivities. You know what I mean? So this is what I mean by, like, the art of detoxification, and how it's so individual to each person. Each person is different in how they're going to approach their detox, okay? Yeah, and it's really about knowing your stuff. Knowing your stuff. Since it's taken me several decades to learn all of this that I know, guys, and most of you, and a lot of people, they just don't have that time. If you're in pain now, if you're suffering now, you don't have decades to learn this information. This is why most people need guidance with healing their health issues, you know? And it's really hard to, like, be in the midst of that tornado of pain and sensitivity in order to make the correct judgment calls on how to heal, how to dig deeper, how to approach your healing, right? So, yeah, I mean, I really, really love talking to all of you guys in that way, helping you, you know, piece all these pieces together. And I mean, I get so happy when I see that smile on your face when we do our consultations, and just even the hope that I provide all of you. I'm good. I don't want to cry. It's gonna make me want to cry. Okay. Okay, but I hope that answered your question. That's where some sensitivities come from. Let's see. Detoxing and having a past with an eating disorder. Okay. That is a touchy subject. It's difficult to detox with an eating disorder. It depends, because some people have severe eating disorders and some people just have slight, you know, like maybe a little bit of body image issues, you know, whether it's the type of, like, whether it's an orthorexia type of eating disorder, you know, or whether it's a bulimia, like purging, or anorexia, a lot of limitations, skewed body image, you know what I mean? There's so many different levels of an eating disorder, and all those can be acute or chronic or severe. So really, for me to help someone out with an eating disorder, I'd have to know the full picture. I'd have to know their history. I'd have to know how bad it is. We worked with some people. Thankfully, you know, we haven't, like, dug deep into detoxification with people that have really, really great eating disorders. I usually have to say, like, you know, detoxing right now is not something you want to do. Focus on strengthening your glands, finding love for your body and for yourself, finding your, your spirituality within, right? Or finding some sort of light in your life, right? I'm not going to get into like religion or beliefs or things like that in this video, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Whatever helps you feel good, and it's not harming anyone else, then that's what you turn to, okay? And people with eating disorders, they oftentimes don't have that in their life. So it's sad, but eating disorders always can stem from very weak adrenal glands. If you don't have love for yourself, where you restrict yourself and you just restrict yourself to the point where your body starts to decay in that way, then that's severe lack of love for yourself. And with detoxification, you have to have mental clarity in that way, because you can go, like, I can tell someone with an eating disorder something and they take it to the extreme, okay? So that's always been my approach with people that have eating disorders is, how are they mentally speaking, emotionally speaking, where are they, because there are at some points that you should just really focus on, even eating a vegan plant-based diet would be good enough until you perk up your glands a little bit. You can still eat high raw, but never go into like deep states of fasting for people with eating disorders. And it's a very fine line, guys. So that's what I would say to someone with eating disorders. But people with eating disorders, they usually have all the glands down. The thyroid gland is down, adrenals are down, pituitary is down, parathyroid, all that. So focus more on like taking herb support or glandular support while eating a fairly healthy, balanced diet, okay? Once you feel like, okay, I'm good, I don't have symptoms of having an eating disorder, then you can start to go into more raw, okay? Now, for people with eating disorders, I'm not a therapist, okay? But I do recommend seeking some sort of help from a therapist or a counselor that specifically deals with that, okay? Now, never think that the raw diet is harmful. The raw diet is the best thing, right? But we have to be smart, People that are mentally ill, they can take things to the extreme, okay? So I guess that would be the answer to your question. That's kind of like always been my approach, is walking with balance, seeing what people can handle. Again, like I said, detox is very specific to the individual. So I hope that answered your question. But if you feel like you have a good handle on it, you've had that support, you really you have achieved that gland balance, then you can start increasing your raw intake. And could be a fact that your glands are congested. So really, like, I recommend, like, if someone does have an eating disorder or past of eating disorders, then I recommend working with me one-on-one, so that I would be able to give you more guidance in that way and support, okay? I hope that answered your question. But yeah, really great questions. Thank you so much. I think maybe I've covered the topic of eating disorders like once or twice in the entirety of the YouTube channel. So it was much needed. Okay, so question number 6. It's so hot in this room, guys. And I really want to film. Oh, I really want to film the iridology video. So let's, it's like 10 o'clock right now. Oh, and I have like 3 more cases to do tonight. I want to film the iridology video, and I'll probably end up going to sleep like at 3 or 4 in the morning. That happens often. But I just, this information has to be put out there. Whew. When I see all these questions that you guys write in, I'm like, oh my God, I have to address this in a video. They need this information right now, not a moment longer. Okay, number 6. Hi, Ailin. I have a son who has extreme constipation. Not the son you have worked with, my other son, who I'm going to get a consultation for soon. He has been on stomach and bowel formula number 3 and recently upped it to number 4, and he is still not going regularly. Okay. We have cut out honeydew melon to see if that's the culprit. He currently has orange juice with lemon squeezed in and grapes an hour later for breakfast. Okay. Snack is a smoothie with apple juice base and blueberries. Okay. Lunch is cucumber, tomato, red pepper, mango, and cilantro salad. More grapes in the afternoon and a bowl of blended apples for dinner. Okay. My other son eats this way and has almost the same protocol and goes several times a day. Okay. I am at my wit's end with this constipation and have had to give him enemas. I need to clear his bowels so his head will drain. And we aren't even caught up on poop, let alone mucoid plaque. I have blended fresh aloe into his juices and that has not helped. Any insight as to this type of severe constipation despite diet and herbs would be much appreciated. Thank you. Okay. So there's a lot of things here. But if you said that you've been giving him the number 4 and he's still not going regularly, I mean, he might need to go to number 5. Number 5 is the one that has just a little tiny bit of laxatives to help move you in cases of extreme constipation. That's the one, guys, that's the one that I had to start off with when I first started a detox, with stomach and bowel number 5. I was chronically constipated. Like maybe I would move my bowels like once every week and a half, sometimes even 2 weeks. It was that extreme. So I had to resort to doing number 5 for a little bit in order to just get those bowel movements, because as much as kidney filtration is important, bowel movements is also very important. You know, all that toxicity that you're pulling out during detox when eating fruits, a lot of it goes to the stools and the bowels. And if all that acidic waste is left there to ferment and bloat, then you can have a lot of upper head issues, a lot of different symptomology in the body. So yeah, definitely that's pretty urgent. So try number 5. But I was gonna say, I don't know what type of herbs you're giving him for your other son. I remember working with your one son, that we set him up with his diet and herbal protocol, and I'm really glad to see that he's doing very well. That's excellent. You know, your son right now, what you told me, OJ, lemon, squeeze into his smoothies, you know, grapes, all that sounds fantastic. But what I'm sensing is maybe he's having problems, like, because his constipation can be coming from several different places. He could have, no doubt, interstitial lymphatic constipation within the bowel wall. That level of dehydration, it can be very hard to pass your bowels and pass stools, right? Could be that. Could be maybe spastic bowels or prolapsing, sagging in different parts of the bowel, creating, you know, an obstruction, creating a smaller bowel opening to pass the stools through. If that's the case, he might have parathyroid weakness. He needs to strengthen up the tone of his bowels to, you know, correct that sagging, right? Or he might have a stricture. You know, stricture is only formed in spasticity and lymphatic congestion. But that's not too often that happens. I have seen prolapsed colons where people have not complained of being constipated, you know? So it's not always the case. Not everyone with prolapsing in their colon has constipation, although it can be a contributing factor. But this is the main thing. What I have seen is people with adrenal weakness and or nervous system weakness can have a lot of constipation issues. So if he isn't on this yet, I would recommend the brain and nerve formula and the adrenal gland formula, okay? Or even adrenal glandular, depending on what he needs. I can't wait to work with him so that I can, you know, we can resolve this constipation issue once and for all. But until then, until, you know, our consultation together, I would recommend brain and nerve and adrenal formula. You need to support his nervous system because the nervous system runs to the colon. You have to think to yourself, peristalsis is dependent on nerve energy and nerve flow. That's stemming from the adrenal glands. So support those two, and the nervous system can move the stools along, okay? Whew. Other than that, I have seen this to be the case. Sometimes if you go on all raw, the adrenals, they just kind of, they lose their oomph, you know what I mean? For those with adrenal weakness, since they're no longer being stimulated by, you know, processed foods, salty foods, chemicals, they can take a break a little bit. And you can see constipation. So I would recommend doing the suggestions that I mentioned first, like brain and nerve and adrenal, stomach bowel number 5, before resorting to this. But sometimes maybe like some cooked vegetables is needed in these cases. And if you eat some cooked vegetables, that can help, you know, the process, because constipation can be a detoxification symptom in this way. And if you slow down the detox for a little bit, that can be just enough for the adrenals to perk up a little bit and just help with constipation issues. Sometimes that's needed, guys, because the worst thing would be just to continuing to have constipation and then that fermentation and bloating occurring in the body, and that level of toxicity leaching to the brain and the chest and the heart and all that stuff. That would be the worst thing, right? So that would be my recommendation. See if he does well with brain and nerve, adrenals, stomach and bowel number 5. If he doesn't do okay with that, then maybe just give him like a little break and do some vegetables and then go back to raw again. Sometimes you just need like those little breaks scattered around, right? Some detox tools that you could use now. Enemas, that's really for emergency situations. I can understand using that, but enemas are enervating. They can be habit forming. If you overuse enemas, your colon will get lazier and lazier. I've met people that have done enemas for months and years, and they cannot have a bowel movement without doing an enema. It's that bad. The muscles of the colon get very lazy with that, okay? So I don't recommend enemas unless it's an emergency type situation. You could see if you can try like castor oil packs on top of the colon, see if that helps. Sometimes that can offer like just enough soothing relief, because sometimes that spasticity can just hold the stools there, and that castor oil pack can just soothe the inflammation in that region and just help move the bowels along. Let me see. Depends. If he's stressed, things like teas or essential oils, just creating calming environment can be just what he needs to go to the bathroom. So there's a lot of things to consider, but your diet is on point. As far as honeydew goes, you know honeydew? You said you cut out honeydew melon to see if that's the culprit. Honeydew or cantaloupe. I've actually found cantaloupe to be quite aggressive and astringent, and not in a good way for some people that are sensitive to that. Not everyone. Honeydew tends to be a little softer, a little more gentle. But if you have unripe fruit, that can also cause these issues. I wonder if you have good access to watermelon. Probably not, because it's not the season for watermelon anymore. But if you do have good access to watermelon, see if that helps eating watermelon. See if maybe like going on, because sometimes you could either be not hitting it hard enough or hitting it too hard. So if that doesn't work, it's all about trying different things. If that my initial recommendations don't work, then maybe do just a little bit of watermelon fasting with him. Watermelons are really purgative of the GI tract, so there's quite a few things that you can try out. But yeah, I hope that helped. I hope that answered your question. I think that somewhere in there definitely have the root cause to his health conditions that he's experiencing now. But yeah, thank you. And I look forward to our consultation together. Okay. Whew. Number 7. Hi, I am very inspired by your approach to healing. Thank you so much. I had a total laryngectomy, both thyroids removed, and have one parathyroid left that's not working. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's not good. Of course, the lymph nodes were removed as well. Of course, you know, anytime medical doctors want to take out our organs and glands, they always take out the lymph nodes. Oh, just as a precaution, you gotta take those lymph nodes out. Oh my God, nothing makes me angrier than that. You need your lymph nodes, guys. You need your lymph nodes, because how else will the lymphatic system drain? People that have lymph nodes removed are very prone to forming tumors and cancer in their body. So that's often not the best thing to do. And if you can help it, keep your lymph nodes, okay? Okay. I had a very aggressive cancer and will be going through radiation therapy, but no chemotherapy. What's done is done, and I can only look forward. Is there any way to help the parathyroid to become functional again? Okay. So, okay, so the parathyroid gland is kind of like the least of your problems right now. If you said you had an aggressive cancer, I wonder what type of cancer, how spread out it was. If you had a total laryngectomy, means that they removed your larynx, your voice box, you know, your access to breathing through your nose, through your mouth, going down to the esophagus, the stomach, the lungs, all that stuff, right? So that's quite severe. So I have encountered some clients that have told me that in the past, where they got that total laryngectomy, where the doctors recommended the thyroid glands removed and the parathyroid glands removed as well. It's not usually the case, but sometimes they'll take it out as a precaution. I wonder if you had like what they called cancer to have spread to those areas of the body. Very unfortunate, because with the removal of the thyroid gland, then you have to take a pill for the rest of your life, like levothyroxine, right? So I have seen though, okay, if you're someone with a strong constitution and you take your detox very seriously, even if you have a little piece of your parathyroid gland left, you can regrow your parathyroid gland. The tissue will start to regenerate and you'll regrow it again. Very possible. Now it's a little harder with the thyroid glands. If they completely removed them, that's going to be a little harder. But I always say, you know, even though it's rare, because sometimes people, they just want to detox, and some people don't mind taking the pill for the rest of their life, right? Not everyone has had their thyroid glands removed, but for the people that I have seen that have had their thyroid glands removed, and or their parathyroid glands, or their tonsils, or anything like that in that neck region, and they went into deep detoxification and they were regenerating their whole body with the fruits and the herbs and the glandulars, we have seen new growth of these glands. It's completely possible. It's just that not everyone has the focus and the dedication required to actually, you know, see that regeneration of tissue. But the sky's the limit in what you want to achieve. My biggest concern, you know, growing glands aside, is the radiation that you say that you're going to get. Because we kind of touched this topic a little bit in the beginning of the video. Radiation just burns through everything, burning through everything. And if you are getting radiation in this region of the body, your head is right there. Your sinuses, your brain, your head, that's cutting it really, really close. And even in the chest. So, you know, radiation, it's unfortunate, because I've only seen people that have very few weaknesses. Literally, you'd have to have an iris that has no weaknesses or no lymphatic issues to get away with something like radiation. But even then, it can be difficult, okay? For some people that have been exposed or have had radiation therapy for cancer, you want to limit it or don't do it at all, because the risk is there. Oftentimes we see a few years down the line, even if you get radiation therapy and the cancer goes into remission or goes away, what pops back up is an even more aggressive cancer. Why? Because you did not address the root cause, which was that lymphatic stagnation and obstruction in the first place. And then not only do you have that lymphatic stagnation that you initially had, but then now you have the burning of the cells and the tissues from the radiation. And that radiation is cancer causing. Radiation itself is a cancer causing modality. So it's nuts. It's truly, truly nuts. You're literally killing the cells of your body with radiation. So, it's your choice, it's your decision, but I have not seen anything good come of that. That's just from my experience, seeing thousands and thousands of clients through the years with very similar issues that you have right now. So, sorry that I'm getting a little riled up now in this part of the video, guys, but like sometimes it's just like enough is enough, enough is enough. Seeing the same story over and over again, it breaks my heart. And so sometimes I just have to kind of like let loose and not really have a filter too much in these videos. But yeah, so in cases of cancer, you want to do your best to avoid getting an aggressive cancer again, because this time it won't be limited to just your throat region. It can then result in cancer in the brain or cancer in the lungs or in the chest or the breast. All that is for the taking with radiation and with acidosis. It's a good thing that you're avoiding chemotherapy though. That's really good. Now, with cancer, several different causes. I would be curious to see if you have a weakness in that neck or throat region, how bad it is, if it is of a congestive nature or if it is of a nature of deterioration, because that changes up the protocol, what that looks like. I'm also curious to see if you have a genetic weakness, like if your family has shown any signs of having weaknesses like this, if cancer runs in your family, if maybe some like thyroid weakness or like any weaknesses here running your family. I can bet you have colon issues. I can bet that you have kidney and adrenal gland weaknesses for sure. So you'd want to address, if you're going to clean out your body, okay, to prevent, even if you're going to go the radiation route, you'd still want to detox your body. You'd still want to detox all of this. And if you have a strong constitution, you might be able to do a good job at cleaning the effects of this so that you don't have, that effect, right? That effect of radiation that it has on your body. But you want to do this as soon as possible. I don't know if you have lymph node swelling anywhere. That will dictate what type of lymphatic formula you would be on. Don't know if you've seen any kidney filtration, all the answers to all these questions. I ask you guys these questions during our consultations because this is like the type of detail that I need to create the perfect healing protocol for you, the most powerful protocol so that you can finally heal and see significant changes in your health, okay? So that's what I would recommend, is taking some lymphatic formula. Not sure, I would very least take a lymph node formula, a lymphatic capsule formula, stomach and bowel formula, or GI Renew, now it's called that way. Something to support your thymus gland. The thymus gland is very important for the immune function of the body. I would drain the head region and the neck with astringent fruits, oranges, grapes. If you can go on some sort of grape fast or some sort of orange fast, grapefruit fast, lemon water fast, that's kind of like your main goal. You want to stay there until you can see intense kidney filtration to get rid of all this acidic waste. You had some lymph nodes removed. I'd be curious to see the state of your tonsils. If you had your tonsils removed as a child, people that have had their tonsils removed early on, they get a lot of formations of cancer in that throat, neck, thyroid region. So, but never lose hope, because if you go on that path, without a doubt, you're going to see healing. You're going to see the correction of your symptoms, and then if you stick with it, you're going to see regeneration of tissue. So I'm more concerned about your cancer getting rid of all this acidic waste. But what comes as a result of that, once you get rid of all these acidic wastes, then you have that alkaline environment necessary to regenerate tissue and glands. So you can regenerate your parathyroid and your thyroid, like I said, the sky's the limit. If you are taking levothyroxine, Synthroid, any sort of thyroid medication, I would look into, seeing if you can supplement that with a thyroid glandular, parathyroid glandular, after you detox, after you clear out the acidic sewage right here a little bit more, because you don't want to inspire too much tissue activity in this region if you have a past of having cancer, or if you have any suspicion of having cancer, okay? So guys, it's very important. Clean first and then strengthen, okay? Clean first and then strengthen these glands and organs, okay? So yeah, I hope that answered your question. I'm sorry if I got a little spicy there, but it's because I care. It's because I care. And we didn't really talk about like some detox tools, but if and this applies to many people, and I have had people that have seen great success with this, people that have had lymph node swelling or thyroid or throat cancers. What you can do to help in the healing of this area, you can put some sort of castor oil pack or grapeseed oil, or you can put CBD oil topically. Some sort of like nutritive buffering oil like that can help you with that acidic inflammation, okay? So that you would be able to regenerate tissue and heal. That would probably be my my number one recommendation as far as detox tools goes. And maybe like some sort of heal all gargling, like heal all tea and gargling, if you're able to do that. Again, I don't know like what your situation is, if like how you're eating, how you're drinking, how easily swallowing is, that entire situation there, since they took out your larynx, right? But if you're able to do that, then do that. Just go after all the channels of elimination in your body, and really do everything you can to inspire kidney filtration as much as possible. And yeah, but yeah, in situations like this, guys, like it's serious business, and you definitely need guidance. You need more specific guidance to get rid of these types of health conditions. Okay, so I have one more question left, guys. If you're enjoying this video so far, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like. If you have come across any information in this video that you feel like will be useful to anyone that you know, then feel free to share it. I want this video to be shared around as much as possible for people to finally have their eyes opened, or if that's what they need, if they need hope, or if they need like any little tips and tricks and to move in that right direction, the right detox direction, then that's what I want for everyone. And like I said, I'm here for all of you, to help all of you heal. Okay, so this is the last question. Hi Ailin, I love your page. Thanks so much for sharing all that info with us. Thank you. Do you know anything about a cracked, inflamed tongue? This started 5 years ago, but I've been raw for 2 months and it looks a little worse. Could be a little detox symptom. Something that's very common is like areas that are very weak in the body getting a little worse when you jump into detox. So in the head region especially, I see this. Like maybe sometimes when people jump into detox, their gums can bleed a little bit, or their tongue can swell up a little bit, or their teeth can become like a little loose. Like, those are extreme detox symptoms, but I have seen it. Especially if someone like jumps in and like their body's like very responsive and it starts cleaning house. That's possible. But let me see what your question was. Oh yeah. So like a cracked, inflamed tongue, we have to realize that tongue is just a connection of the colon. That's the beginning of the entire GI tract. The more you clean out your colon, and make sure you're not constipated, because that can also be the root cause of why you're having that inflamed tongue. You have to get your bowels moving, and then your tongue will start to heal, okay? But on the other side of that, like I was saying before, with detox symptoms, like related to detox symptoms, I have seen people they get on the raw diet and like their eyes like get red, or they see like redness in the whites of their eye, or like a red capillary that becomes like very inflamed. And just think of things like that while you're on raw. Think of things like that as your body pulling on that lymph system, pulling on the acids. So it's kind of surfacing in the beginning for a little bit until the kidneys start to filter and the channels of elimination start to open, right? But it shouldn't look like that for too long. You shouldn't keep a detox symptom like that for too long. So I would try just holding onto some Heal tea in your mouth, seeing if those soothing herbs help calm down the tongue. Definitely clean out your colon with the stomach and bowel formula, or the GI broom eventually. And yeah, like really that's all you really shared. I have seen inflamed tongue get so bad that the tongue pain is so intense. Like, it's one of those horrible pains that people can't even eat, they can't talk, like it's horrible. And tongue cancers are very common nowadays, guys. People with tongue cancers, they usually see symptomology of inflammation like this at first. So you want to take care of this as soon as possible. I like that you've been all raw for 2 months. Keep on going, keep on pushing it. Sometimes you do have to, because this can have a lot of causative factors. In our consultation, I would probably ask you if you're eating any unripe fruit, because if you're eating unripe fruit, that can also cause like tongue sensitivity or inflammation, or like the inside of the mouth tissue on the side, you can see like blisterings or things like that if you're eating a lot of unripe fruit. Usually the fruits that cause reactions like that are people that are so acidic from head to toe and have a lot of sensitivities. Sometimes these people will have sinus inflammation, or they'll have allergies. Like, this is kind of like the symptomology that you see in these sorts of people that have those issues. So I would say avoid unripe fruit, avoid pineapples, they're often picked unripe. Avoid blackberries, often picked unripe. Kiwis, sometimes kiwis can give you problems like that. The other fruits, grapefruit can be too strong sometimes for people. And blueberries, if someone is highly acidic, then blueberries sometimes can give you problems. Now, it's not to say that these foods are bad, but initially, if you're doing all raw, then you may be too sensitive to this. Now, the more you clean out your body with other foods that you can handle, then you may be able to go back to these foods in the future. But for right now, just keep an eye out on stuff like that, and let me know and see how you do. But yeah, guys, that's the end of this video, Q&A number 21. I'll keep the Q&A videos rolling, and I really enjoyed spending this time with all of you. Hope the video wasn't too long. I always say I'm gonna make a short video, but it's just that, I just really want to help all of you, and I want to fully answer your questions. And yeah, I'm just really happy that every single day we see healing stories over and over again. It makes me so happy when, especially in our follow-ups, because this week has been like nothing but follow-ups for us, where we're catching up on all these follow-ups, as well as getting new clients each day. But in our follow-ups, I love it when you guys say, oh wow, this disappeared, that disappeared. Like, often what the case is, like after our initial consultation, when you guys come back, maybe like in a few months, or like a month or 2 months later, and you tell me that like more than half of your symptoms are gone, that just, wow, like, even though I've been doing detox for many years now, like I'm not even tired of it yet, because it's like you see this magic happening over and over and over again. And how can one get tired of that? How can one get tired of seeing healing happening in people? Like, it's like this rush of energy that comes through my body that is just like never ending, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, it's like this spiritual energy, or magic, or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just like so pure, and yeah, I love it. I'm looking forward to being able to just sit down and take a case and just kind of like go over it with you guys. And I want to do some like case healing, like testimonial videos too, like pretty soon into the future. But like my number one priority right now is getting through your questions and helping you guys heal through our consultation. So I try to keep a good balance on this channel, but I will say that the Q&A videos, they're the most popular. They help out the most amount of people, and the iridology videos are also quite popular. So I'm gonna focus on those for a while. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said before, you know, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Put your questions and comments down below. I'm going to choose from them, just like I chose for this video. For next week's video, I'm going to take a handful of those as well. And if any of you out there are suffering or in pain, or just like you haven't found the root cause of your symptoms yet, or you need guidance, or you know, you need someone to pinpoint where this is coming from, or you need someone to just set up a healing protocol for you because you've had enough of not seeing the healing results that you're after, then I definitely recommend working with me one-on-one. We see healing all the time in all of our clients. Like everyone just gets better and better and better. So I'll leave a link to our website down in the description box of this video. Our website is www.spiritualhealing.com. And if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, you just go to the services tab on the website, and we have various different options there, various different packages, depending on where you are in your healing journey. If you're someone that wants an iris analysis, we have that. If you know, if you want me to read your eyes. If you're someone that wants an iris analysis with an herbal protocol, we have that for you. If you're someone that wants like everything, like the consultation one-on-one with me, the diet plan, the herbal protocol, the detox tools specific to you, you know, all your results, like your eyes red, everything, us going through that in the consultation together, then that's the Master Your Health package. That's our most popular package, and I definitely recommend that as like the best way to get started on your healing journey. If you want more help beyond that, we have VIP packages too, where, you know, we keep you accountable, we keep your protocol, you know, making adjustments throughout the month. And yeah, that package is also pretty popular too. So whatever sort of support you need, I'm here to support you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I love you all, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.